Bring the whole family together for a warm, delicious meal this holiday season. Strachan Van Til has everything you'll need to satisfy their cravings. Just in time for Thanksgiving, we are carrying an incredible variety of fresh, frozen, organic, and even locally farmed whole turkeys that will truly make your mouth water. With meat so tender and juicy, this will be a meal they won't forget. Life made simple, meals made easy. It's a Strachan Van Til thing.
If you work with industrial, pneumatics, or hydraulics, and you're in need of maintenance or repair, you need the right connection. For over 20 years, Hose Connections in Hammond has been the premier leader in the hydraulics industry. Hose Connections is a one-stop shop for sales and service of pneumatics and hydraulics. Hose Connections continues to grow their network of industry contacts, which allows them to meet even your toughest expectations. To learn more, visit HoseConnectionsInc.com. Hose Connections in Hammond. Proven under pressure.
Live from the Santander Bank Studios, it's the Hose Connections halftime show connecting the first half to the second half. Andrew Mild with the sports director himself, Mike Dewan. And tonight it's a regional championship round. A lot of good games on hand. And Mike, two good games on the Region Sports Network tonight.
We wouldn't have it any other way. Of course, a lot of local teams around here, but again, looking at our Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard and looking at all the teams these guys could eventually play. There's some top dogs out there, of course, still in the mix. Again, we're trying to punch the ticket to the Final Four now, and again, some of these games halfway done, kind of more in this kind of area of the state, while some of these other games, Andrew, they're already about third, fourth quarter, and some of them might be final already. So it's about trickling out now, but we're happy to be here with you guys, and again, connecting that first and second half here.
So we're going to go through all the different scores and then circle back around to talk about the two games on the Region Sports Network tonight. We're going to start off in Class 1A, the North Judson Blue Jays. It's a story that every time you look to see their score, it always shocks you regardless how many times you see it. They are beating Taylor 62-0, and you were telling me that their chances of winning state is 52%.
Hey, it's going to go only up now. I got to give a big shout out to John Harrell, somebody who everybody I bet follows in this line of work, whether it's football or basketball. And yeah, he puts up the tournament chances. And coming into this round, they had a very high chance to win this game. Obviously, Taylor played their way into this position, and got to give kudos to them. But North Judson's an absolute just wagon right now. And yeah, John Harrell has kind of those percentages listed per round of what teams could make it and what their percent chance to win at that given round. North Judson far and away the favorite in 1A, now punching their ticket to the Final Four. They keep on rolling. I want to say their closest game this year has been no less than probably 25, 30 points. I mean, this is a team that, again, we kind of talk about Crown Point a lot. Have they gotten punched in the mouth yet? And if so, how will they respond? I guess we'll never know up until this point. The Blue Jays get it done once again.
I guess the term of the birds do fly south for the winter is going to happen for the Blue Jays, looking like they could be heading down to Indianapolis. South Adams, the great name Starfires, hosting North Miami. Shout out to my good friend Pat, who works at the school. It's 40-21. Starfires beating them. Winner will get the face off against North Judson, and good luck to them in that game.
Sure.
Going over to Class 2A, Andrean, who had not given up a single point en route to their sectional championship, right now are tied at 14. Actually, now they're trailing 17-14 as Lafayette Central Catholic just nailed a field goal. So it seems like the Knights have figured out something, and they're scoring on the 59ers.
A little bit. Andrean got to them early. Again, that we talked about in Region Football Weekly. They're getting healthy. They got a lot of young freshmen that are playing up. Javier McCoy had 2 touchdowns for Andrean, 2 goal line plunges, but since then it's been all Lafayette Central. Obviously being at your home place. Again, Andrean didn't start flat like we kind of maybe expect for a team traveling down I-65, but now you got to finish. And right now Lafayette Central, yeah, you mentioned, they found out something. They were able to run the football very, very well, and now obviously they're making special teams happen with that pretty long kick there to make it 17-14. Still plenty of ball game left now. Again, we still got a fourth quarter to play as well as some of the third, but Andrean now got to try and find that momentum they had in the first half, because right now it's all Knights.
I'm expecting Indirain to turn to Finley at the end to see if their best player can help them out en route to trying to win a regional championship. The winner of that game will go up against Adams Central Flying Jets as they're beating up on Eastern Comets 42-7. We are going to move along to the Class 3A, a somewhat local team in Knox High School. They're going up against Garrett, and that score is 22-14. Knox has had themselves a pretty good season.
I mean, they keep it simple. They run the football. They got the top rusher in the state in Miles McLaughlin. He's going to rewrite the history books. He's well over that 5,000 career rushing yard mark. And mind you, he is only a junior at the quarterback position. He's still got a full at least 10 games to play and a little bit more of this one. 22-14. Knox just looking to escape that, minus all the record talk with Miles McLaughlin. But they got a great rushing attack over there. And again, the game like this, where it's a one-score game, Knox gets the football. You got to try and get them off the field, but they're going to keep running that clock, and they're going to burn your timeouts regardless.
Yeah, looking over, they have an injury right now, but 8:45 left in that game. And Fort Wayne Lures, those Knights are in Makanakoa against the Braves. That's a 10-point lead for the Knights. Mishawaka Cavemen, classic name, going up against New Prairie, who beat Hanover Central, and it scores 21-7. Cavemen are leading.
I mean, this was a game of very similar to kind of what we see from Knox. But both sides, these guys could really run the football. Mishawaka, of course, being at home in a great place that they call the Cave over there. It's a fun place to play from what I know. But this, again, a lot of handoffs in this game. Again, with a lead like this for Mishawaka, it's going to be tough for New Prairie to come back again. These late stages of the game, your opportunities are squandered because, again, if Mishawaka, whether they don't pick up a first down, whether, again, 3 plays, that shaves off 40 seconds a pop, that's limiting opportunities for a New Prairie offense that's not really set to come back from deficits like this.
And then we have East Noble. They're up 52-17 on Huntington North, so looking like they're going to win a regional championship and move to the Final Four. One of the games on the Region Sports Network tonight, where Leo Stoudeker is calling it, the Maryville Pirates and the Valpo Vikings, a DAC matchup, and it's going the way that you think is going. Maryville is up by 20, and they're using their run game and had a nice passing touchdown. We'll see the highlights later, and we'll discuss more of that game. But they'll be taking on the winner of the Warsaw Tigers and the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos, and they're tied at 21 apiece. So that's going to be a thrilling finish in Warsaw. In the Class 6A, it's Carroll in Crown Point at the Dog Pound. Crown Point trying to win their second straight regional championship. They're up 24-6, and they just resumed coming out of the half with 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. And the winner of that game goes up against either the Shamrocks of Westfield, a team that came up to Crown Point last year and lost in that thrilling overtime game. They're leading the Fishers Tigers by 14. We're going to look at the highlights that we have put together for this Valpo-Maryville game. And here we go. The Maryville, their rushing attack has been deadly all season long. But what's also been impressive has been their defense, only holding Valpo to 7 points. And this is how they got those 7 points. One of the best passes we've seen from Kellen Hosick this year. But after that, it's been all Maryville, Mike.
I mean, it's a dominant rushing attack. Thunder and lightning in the backfield there. You see number 3 for Maryville. But, hey, they can also throw the football as well. You got an athlete like John Peters you could throw it to there who had a big touchdown. And, again, the quarterback play for Maryville is improving. Yes, they had some short goal line plunges, but they had some big runs as well as some big passes as well. A very well-balanced offense. And, again, ever since kind of that touchdown for Valparaiso, it's been all Maryville now. Now 27-7 is the score. That second half's going to be starting here pretty shortly.
What is it going to take for Valpo to get back into this game? Because I'll tell you one thing, watching those highlights and watching some of the game, Maryville has taken away their running attack, and that's what Valpo banked on all season long.
Yeah, I think it starts with the defense. There's been a lot of big chunk plays for the Maryville team that they pride themselves on just about year in and year out. And for Valparaiso, again, this was a defense that they've shown some struggles, and we kind of looked at that previous meeting between these two squads in the regular season. We saw a lot of chunk plays again for Maryville, taking advantage of that young defense. Valparaiso, they got to give their offense a chance because we know they could score points. They've been in this position before in this season where they can come back. They can get some deep passes where we know that they're capable of that, but their defense has to give them opportunities and keep this game within reach.
For the Maryville Pirates, talk about a team that got beat by Crown Point. It really awakening them, because ever since then they haven't lost. And it feels like a lot of the results you look at, those games weren't even close. I think they have maybe one close finish, but other than that, Maryville has found something. It's that running attack. It's that front seven of their defense. And as you said, their quarterback play is improving. And the more we watch teams in this area, if they want to even get a shot at sniffing at State, you have to have that second level. Like, you can run the ball well, but you need the passing game to be able to differentiate yourself from other opponents.
Definitely. I mean, it's all complimentary ball, and Maryville's playing it very, very well. Unlike many other teams here, they're at this point for a reason. And obviously, again, that loss against Crown Point really woke them up. Obviously, the conference title's out of reach, but they have their aspirations set on Lucas Oil, competing in their class, competing with the best of 5A. Going back to that John Harrell kind of tournament chances, obviously don't want to base everything off it, but the highest team with the team with the highest chance to win state in 5A is the Maryville Pirates. Obviously, there's a lot riding on this team, and this is a very talented roster. Obviously, got to get the job done here, keep doing what they're doing, playing great defense and complimentary football, and then we got to worry about next week, the semi-state round, which has been a little bit of a hump for them for Maryville. But that's a next week problem. Right now, they got to finish out this half and keep playing the way they're playing, because since that loss against Crown Point, I mean, this has been a different team, to say the absolute least.
Yeah, talking about Crown Point, let's look at their highlights of the first half as they're hosting Fort Wayne Carroll. They started off their scoring with a field goal. That was a beautiful kick. But here it is. This is the best play of the night so far. Look at this. That's a screen play to the left, and he runs, another 25 yards, got some blocking out in front, and dives in. And you wonder why Ball State wants him so badly. And then Crown Point with that Wildcat. What a tournament so far for Ellison. He scored 4 touchdowns last week in the win against Penn. He has a couple already tonight against Carroll. Here's Carroll's 1 touchdown. The extra point would get blocked. Feed it to Ellison. Once inside that 5-yard line, you know where it's going to go, and you still can't stop it with the big man out in front. And that's how Crown Point was able to build a 24-6 lead. But right before the end of the first half, Carroll went for it on 4th and 10. Couldn't hook up with that wide receiver trying to fit it inside a tight window. And actually, Carroll just scored a touchdown. Looking at the live stream right now we have, and right now it's 24-12. But that's the one thing I've noticed about watching Crown Point. Obviously getting ready for the game last week against Penn. Watching the film on them, teams feel that their weakness on defense is going deep because they run a 3-5-3. There's only one safety. Mm-hmm. But Crown Point relies on their linebackers to get into that backfield and create havoc, so they can't get it downfield. But I'm interested to see when Crown Point start facing some of the best quarterbacks in the 6A division, how it's going to be tough for them to keep up with them.
Hey, I mean, they're seeing one here tonight. Jimmy Sullivan, Fort Wayne Carroll, who did just have a big completion there for a touchdown. We'll see that later on the wrap-up show. That might be something they may turn to later in the game, but they're facing one here tonight. He's going to Iowa come next year. Again, obviously, they see a lot in him, a Big Ten commit, and right now, Crown Point's obviously having their way with him so far, but a big touchdown there for Fort Wayne. But again, Crown Point, you mentioned Larry Ellison. Again, it's hard to believe this is his second full season at the high school level playing the running back position. He just has so much poise, and it just seems like he's been doing this kind of since birth. But he's a tough runner. Obviously, they put him in the Wildcat position, something we've saw a lot from them in kind of the previous tournament run they had. They trust him with the football. Snap it to him, let him make a play. 2 touchdowns tonight, hoping to make it a couple more. But again, Crown Point obviously squandering up that early touchdown here. Now I think it's 24-13 in favor of the Dogs. Got to close it out. Similar to Maryville in this situation. Keep playing your proper football, kill that clock, and move on to the Final Four.
Yeah, that was the one thing about Crown Point. Whenever you mention them, the first thing that always gets mentioned is Ehrlich, about how good he is. But the pieces around him are also extravagant. Watching Gibbs play last week on both sides of the ball, he's only a junior. He'll probably go to a D1 school, depending if he's going to be a linebacker or a tight end. I'm thinking linebacker with him being a 3-star at that position. Sure. But Ellison allows their offense to be well-rounded, where they can milk that clock, especially in a situation like this against Carroll, which I'm now watching that play that allowed them to score. That was a dot right between 2 defenders. But Ellison, I mean, last year he ran for 20 touchdowns. He's ran for another 20 touchdowns this year. I'm surprised that we haven't seen him commit anywhere, but I'm assuming that a lot of scouts are at this game watching these 2 teams, and you got to think that Ellison might be getting some sort of scholarship offer by the end of the game. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back for the wrap-up show tonight. Hopefully the 3 region teams are going to win, or hopefully 3 of them walk away with a championship tonight. Crown Point against Carroll, and then Andrean against Lafayette Central Catholic, and then Maryville just scored, so now that score is 33-7. From my partner Mike DeWan, I've been Andrew Mild. This has been the Host Connections halftime show, doing exactly what we needed to do, connect the first half to the second half. We'll see you tonight for the wrap-up show. You're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
If you work with industrial, pneumatics, or hydraulics, and you're in need of maintenance or repair, you need the right connection. For over 20 years, Hose Connections in Hammond has been the premier leader in the hydraulics industry. Hose Connections is a one-stop shop for sales and service of pneumatics and hydraulics. Hose Connections continues to grow their network of industry contacts, which allows them to meet even your toughest expectations. To learn more, visit HoseConnectionsInc.com. Hose Connections in Hammond. Proven under pressure.
Attention Strack and Van Til reward members. From October 16th to November 19th, spend $400 and you'll earn yourself a free turkey. That's right, a free honeysuckle turkey, between 10 to 14 pounds. Get ready to gobble up some savings this Thanksgiving season. Keep tabs on your performance in your rewards account. 2 offers per account, so make it count. Don't miss out on this turkey-tastic deal at Strack and Van Til.